Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today we're going to be talking about all the tarot cards astrologically connected to Aries, the Cardinal Fire sign of the Zodiac, and the leader of the Zodiac as well. With Aries season officially in full swing as the time of making this video, I thought now was the perfect time to do this. As you can see, we have the Rider-Waite-Smith right here with all the cards connected to Aries. Every sign of the Zodiac, Aries included, as well as, every other sign, Sagittarius, Pisces, Cancer, Virgo, you name it, all has a major arcana card, a court card, and all three of the minor cards astrologically connected to them. Now, the Emperor will be the card astrologically connected, or the major arcana card astrologically connected to Aries, and you can see here the two little rams on either side of his throne, and the leadership qualities that the Emperor has. He sits in his throne, he's got everything behind him, and he's in control and leading. And so you really can connect this to the Aries energy, that masculine leader aspect of it. It is the leader of the Zodiac after all. The astrological year begins with Aries, so this makes a lot of sense. Now this particular illustration of the Emperor reminds me of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and that's like the Dracula himself. He's wearing that red armor and stuff, and so that really reminds me of that, and like taking control and really leading in life. And then with the court cards are a little bit different. As the Queen of Wands, the cardinal signs are always ruled by the queens. She rules the first two decans of Aries as well as the last decan of Pisces. And when I say decans, there's about approximately 30 days in each zodiac season, so it's every 10 days is a different decan. So she rules from about March 10th to about April 10th, the last decan of Pisces season, beginning first season of Aries season, second decan. And then the third decan relates closer to Taurus, because that energy is starting to move into the fixed earth sign with the King of Pentacles here. So that King of Pentacles energy would be the third decan when it's getting closer to Taurus season, towards the end of Aries season, obviously, which would be about April 11th to April 20th, 21st. And then with the cardinal signs and the minor arcana, we have 2, 3, and 4 of Wands. As cardinal signs are the beginning of the seasons, this made a lot of sense to me, and all this information that I've gotten, that I'm sharing with you now, came from Corinne Kenner's tarot and astrology book. Now, there's probably other books out there. I know other people have different connections with the zodiac sign and stuff, so what I'm saying may or may not be the actual truth. It's up to you. That's the thing about tarot, like, whatever feels right to you is most likely the right way. That's how I like to see it. But logical sense, like, this makes a lot of sense to me, because, cardinal sign, Aries, leader of the zodiac, beginning of spring, would be the 2 of fire, the 3 of fire, and the 4 of fire. So we have all of those right here too. As I said, these are just the Rider-Waite-Smith illustrations, but what I'd like to do is share 3 cards. There are each of these cards as well, kind of show you the energy of it and talk about a little bit how this energy connects with the zodiac sign. Up first, we'll do the major arcana card, and we have the Emperor right here, which is the full season of Aries season. The Emperor rules over all of it. And we have the Emperor from the Shadowland Tarot, the Emperor from the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot, and the Emperor from the United States of Tarot. Now we can see from this video right here, and this, for lack of a better word, picture that we see, they're all very similar to the Emperor that we began with the Rider-Waite-Smith. Sitting by themselves in their own company, enjoying their own counsel and listening to their higher selves. The Emperor from the Shadowland Tarot is one of my personal favorites, because I love the weirdness of it, and it kind of goes to show that even if you don't really fit in with everybody else, you wear a different color, you are a different color, you're interested in other things, none of that matters. You can still totally be the Emperor of your story and really lead in your life. And that's what this character really says to me, is just be your weird self and just do what feels right to you, and you can really take control and lead in life. And then with the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot, Edgar Allan Poe himself is the Emperor, and he's really leading in his life, doing what he does best. He's writing. So we have those rams in the background again, just like we did down here with the the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And up here, the guidebook says that this is Pluto, so it has that change and transformation energy to it, and like death and rebirth, leaving behind the doubt and really finding the confidence to lead in your life. And I know, I'm a really huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe, and I love this illustration of this card, because it kind of just shows that You know, he's calm and collected. He's doing what he loves. And even though life was stressful and depressing for him, he still powered through and found strength in it. So the people that around him died, he used that energy, that pain, to create something out of it. Now, personally, I think that little planet in the background looks more like Mars than Pluto. You know, you can't actually see Pluto with your naked eye in the sky, but it can still be Pluto, but we can think of it as Mars too. And Mars is very much connected to that Aries energy, you know, passion and fire, even war and destruction. And we think of emperors, we think of soldiers and stuff like that. Really, leaders that might not necessarily be that great of leaders. So we have that energy with the emperor as well. And then last but certainly not least is the emperor from the United States of Tarot, which you can see here is Donald Trump in his underwear, surrounded by a bunch of money on the ground, with a picture of him in his glory, like leading others. Now, this particular illustration might make some people shake their heads, but what I really love about it is the fact that he's there. It's like the Emperor wearing the story, the Emperor's New Clothes. It has that energy to it, to me, that even though, you know, he's not even dressed to impress right here, he's still very much in control and still thinks very highly of himself. And there is a narcissistic tendency to that when we think of thinking highly of ourselves. You know, we're too sure of ourselves and stuff like that. There's a narcissistic tendency to it. But there's also that confidence level that comes with it. You know, even if you don't feel like you're in power, this card kind of suggests like seeing yourself where you want to be. You know, he's got all his money there, and he has his books, so he's wise, and he has this knowledge and intelligence, and he knows what he wants to be. He can see it there in the mirror. He can see it in his mind's eye. So that's a large portion of the energy of the Emperor, I feel, and really something that connects with the Aries season. You know, this is the season that you really begin planting the seeds. You really decide what you want to do with your life and what you want to create. What I think is really interesting is March, you know, the third month of the year, is exactly 9 months from December, and December would be the end of the year. So this might be a little stretch, but if you can create actual life in that time span of 9 months, think of what you can create if you find the confidence in yourself and really see yourself as the strong foundation. You can see there are four, no, there's no 4 on this one, but you know, 4 and the 4 here. The 4 is the number of the strong foundation. So once you see yourself as that strong foundation, really find the confidence to go after your dreams, then you can start creating that life. And just imagine what you can do by 9 months time and by the end of the year. So the Emperor connecting to Aries surely like kind of shows, you know, embracing your own inner Emperor, finding what you're passionate about and being comfortable in your own skin and going after your dreams. So that is the Emperor, the major arcana card astrologically connected to Aries. We'll move on now to the 2 court cards. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the Queen of Wands than I am the King of Pentacles, because we'll get more into the King of Pentacles when it comes time for Taurus season. As I mentioned earlier, the King of Pentacles is also astrologically connected to Aries, but it's the final decan of Aries right before Taurus season begins. So about April 11th to April 20th, 21st, well, you know, and continues on until about May 10th or 11th. And that energy kind of shows really taking that passion, what you wanted to begin and what did you want to lead with at the beginning of Aries season. It really shows finding a little bit of success with it, finding that foundation with it, and really seeing the fruits of your labor coming into reality. So that's kind of the energy of the 3rd decan. And like I said, I will talk more about the King of Pentacles in the next video I do of these. I am planning on making these around the Saturdays of every change of the Zodiac so I can get all 12 of them done. So we'll talk more about the King of Pentacles and show a couple different illustrations with that. But for now, we're going to talk about the Queen of Wands, who is astrologically connected to the last decan of Pisces and the first 2 of Aries. Now, the Queen of Wands is my personal favorite queen of the court. I always call her the queen in a man's world because she's got this passion, fire, enthusiasm, and excitement about her that makes her unafraid and unapologetic and to go after anything of her desires. And many of the illustrations that we see kind of show the cat right there, so they have that feline friend, and she's considered the witch of the tarot too, so it's kind of just embracing your power and really being true to who you are. And these are a couple of my favorite illustrations of this card, and I'll share them with you now. So this queen rules over, like, starting with Pisces, the end of Pisces season, that 3rd decan, because the different court cards, as I said earlier, relate to the last 10 days of the previous Zodiac season, and then the first 20 days of the next. So this queen starts her rule about March 11th or so, and continues that until about April 10th. Now, this queen is from the Trionfi Della Luna. This is the illustrated pips edition, and the illustrated pip ones, they have like all the minor arcana illustrated as well, and not just the pips, we call them, like with 2 or 3 like wands or cups or stuff like that. And what I really love about this illustration is all the faces that are behind her. And if you look really closely there, you can see like the just negative expressions on them, like belittling her, berating her, telling her she can't do something. Like, we all have experienced that. We've all heard someone tell us we can't do something, and it's really filled us with doubt. But you can see here, like, she's confident, she's not listening to them, and she knows what she wants, and she's willing to go after it. And that's a strong part of Aries season, and a strong part of this confident queen's energy, is not caring what anybody else thinks, and really creating the life that she truly wants in herself, letting that inner fire lead her, and having compassion for herself. She's considered the most creative queen of the Zodiac as well, so it kind of has that energy and that message that your life is what you choose to create. Again, we go back to that energy of the Emperor with Donald Trump, and it shows that this is what you want to do, this is what you want to be, you see it in your mind's eye, you can make it happen. Next up, we have the Queen of Wands from the Shadow of Oz Tarot. Now, I shared this deck with you a couple weeks back of all the different illustrations in it and the different stories that go along with it. Now, she's the, I want to call her the patchwork girl. It's been a while since I read the book, so I'm not completely confident on that name. But what's really interesting to her, you can clearly see she's leading in life right now. She's sitting on the other side of the Emerald City. She's confident in herself. She's smiling, and she's proud of who she is. Now, she was actually created by another family to be their slave. Like, they brought her into existence, they stitched her together, she's very clearly made out of different pieces and stuff, but she didn't want that for herself, and she took control, and she led herself somewhere else. So that's another energy that kind of connects back to the illustration that we see here with the Trionfi Della Luna, that kind of shows, you know, don't let somebody else decide how to live your life. Don't let somebody else dictate what you should do. Find your own passion and let your inner lion roar. You can do whatever you set your mind to, and as long as you have that passion and excitement to really take control and lead, there is nothing you can't achieve. And then last, of course, not least, because obviously there's a crow there, so I'm all about this card. This is the Queen of Wands from the Guardians of the Night Tarot by MJ Colonnade. And what I really enjoy about this is the lion right there. And I always like to share little cards with animals on them as well, because it shows to really feel in control, to really feel like you're leading in life. You need to embrace that inner animal and really feel whole and complete within, and take control and really lead in your life and what you're passionate about. So it's like the crow here is telling this lion, you know, you've got this. Here's the wands to go after your dreams. Really to write your own story and be the leader in your life. And that's the energy of Aries season. That's the energy of the cardinal signs. And I feel like that's where they relate to the queens, because it's having compassion for who you are and really believing in your own worth so you can take control and really lead in your life. And that to me is what Aries season is all really about. Taking control, knowing your own power, and embracing it so you can make your life exactly what you want it to be. So that is a look at the Queen of Wands, the court card astrology connected to Aries, at least the first 2 deacons. I keep wanting to point that out. 3rd deacon, King of Pentacles, you are leading in life, you're comfortable, you're successful, and you're starting to feel it. So now we'll move on to the 3 deacons making up Aries. Up next, we have the 1st deacon of Aries, approximately March 20th, 21st to March 31st. And we have the 2 of Wands, which is a card that I have a little saying for it. It's called the Should I Stay or Should I Go card. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be, do I have to stay where I am or do I go somewhere new, as we see with this illustration here and this illustration here, kind of having the world beside us and deciding what it is lights our inner fire and what choice we want to make. This card is very much a card about choices. And as Aries season begins, the weather starts getting warmer, at least for us in the Northern Hemisphere. Spring is one of the most beautiful times of the year because it holds so much potential for what we want to grow. So we're getting the ideas of what seeds we want to plant in order to grow into something else. This is the time, I know I've got sunflowers, I've got kale, carrots, tomatoes, and everything ready to be put into the ground in tiny little pots right now, so that they're like growing their tiny little baby seeds. And you know, it holds so much promise and excitement for what's going to come. And that's the first decan of Aries season, as I said. So it has the choices energy of what we need to ask ourselves: what lights our inner fires and what fills us with excitement. So this is the Two of Wands from the Light Seers Tarot. You can see here she has her wand. She has two of them. There's one here and one here, and she's looking at the window. She has this picture down here of a little VW bus, it looks like, and the world there. So she's deciding, you know, do I want to stay in this house, this comfortable, strong foundation that I know, or do I want to follow my inner fire to something else? And so there is that strong energy of making a choice here, deciding what lights your inner fire and where you want to go. So that the first 10 days of Aries season really asks us what lights our inner fires, what makes us want to like feel, what makes us fill with passion and excitement and makes us want to begin something. So that kind of just shows the energy. Yeah, you have the choice to focus on what you're passionate about, to make a decision about what lights your inner fire the most. And I feel like this picture, this from the Light Seers, really embraces that energy of like, you see it, you're looking out the window at it, kind of like see it in your mind's eye and deciding this is the path you want to take. And then the next card we have is from the Healing Light Tarot by Christopher Butler. And you can see the illustration here. It seems like they're torn between two choices, and that's another energy of the Two of Wands, is an indecisiveness. You know, there might be something, more than one passion that lights your inner fire, or more than one idea that you might want to go after, and it might be pulling you on either side. But you need to kind of rise above the stress, and that's why I like this illustration, is because of the world down here, and it kind of just shows like rising above it, taking the time to connect with your higher self. So this is the two. You can see the two there, the two there, the two there, and the two there. Sorry, I got that in the way. The two there. It kind of connects back to the High Priestess and trusting your intuition to make the choices that you want to see. So rising above the stress of the distractions and stuff, and really taking the time to take your own counsel and trust your intuition to help you find the answers that you're truly passionate about. That's the strong energy of this Two of Wands. And then I was telling you earlier about the Trionfi Della Luna with the Queen of Wands and the illustrated pips versus the unillustrated pips. This is the unillustrated pips, but Patrick Valenza, my favorite artist of all time, I love the Deviant Moon Tarot. We've talked about that in the past. Anything Deviant Moon, anything Patrick Valenza, I am all about. You can see here, this is a very, very beautiful illustration, despite it just being two wands. And it does have a little bit of an intuitive energy to it, because you can see here that the wands are crossed. Every single one of these little wands can show the bloom, the potential that something there is there. But first you have to uncross those swords in your, or I keep saying uncross swords, uncross the wands in your mind and decide which of these paths you really want to focus on and which one you're truly passionate about. So this is the Trionfi Della Luna paradoxical purple, but it's, like I said, the unillustrated pips, but still very beautiful and very illustrated. So that is the energy of the first decan of Aries, about March 2021 to March 31st. And then we will move on to the Three of Wands, which is my personal favorite card of the tarot. As March turns into April, the second decan of Aries starts to come about, and that is the energy of the Three of Wands, about April 1st to April 10th or 11th. And we have the illustrations here, and the passion color, like the creativity and the joy that comes with it, kind of just takes on new life and new light with the Rider-Waite Smith there, and you can see the yellow like really focused on that passion. Now all these cards, with the exception of this one, I think it's my personal favorite one of the Three of Wands, you can see they're starting to begin out. They've found the choice, they've made the choice, and they know what lights their inner fires. So that's kind of the energy of the Three of Wands, you know, embracing that inner freak, embracing that passion, and saying, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to create. Because the energy of the three, you see the three here, the three there, the three there, and the three there, it shows that that creative energy, like finding that power within, that passion within, to make the choice that lights your inner fire. So by the time April's here, like we can start seeing like the buds on the trees. As I'm making this video, you can kind of like, I can look out my window and I can see the tiny little blooms on the trees, like saying, ah, I've made the choice. I'm going to start making my blooms again and making my leaves and start growing and being full and complete. So we have that energy with the Three of Wands, really taking that choice and deciding to go for it. Now none of these characters are very far on their journey yet. We just have that knowing that it's time to go. We've made the choice, we've made our decision, and we're ready to let our freak flags fly. We're ready to embark on this new path. We've made our choice. We don't care how long it's going to take. We've made that decision, and we're going to power on and make that passion our reality. So first we have one of my personal favorite illustrations of the Three of Wands, and this is from the Couture Tarot from Megan Skinner. And you can see here, this character is clearly not dressed for her location. She's got on her fancy outfit. She's like the woods around her, you know, a little bit dangerous for those boots she's walking in, but those boots were made for walking, and that's what she's going to do. I don't remember the song exactly that well, but you get the point. And you can see here like the little pops of color that are around her. She's bringing that energy to life as she's creating it, and that's the beauty of this card and why I love it so much. Is the energy of the Three of Wands is when you're comfortable in your own skin and you let that passion lead you. You know, you show others it's okay to do the same. You're bringing your inner fire out so the rest of the world can see it, and you're inspiring them to do the same. And that's a lot of the energy of the suit of wands, is inspiration, like being the inspiration for others, being the light for others. So that energy kind of really embraces in this card. And with April, you know, you have that energy of, you know, April Fool's Day is the first day of the second, or Three of Wands energy, and the second decan of Aries. So you have that like being a fool, like enjoying yourself, being a little bit weird, joking with others, and just being a bright light in the world and making the choice to follow your own unique path. And we have the Three of Wands from the Dark Mansion Tarot. You can see here our character's dressed in bright red, which relates back to the Emperor that we saw with the Rider-Waite Smith earlier. And she has all her bags packed, and you can see the stagecoach up here like coming to pick her up, because she's made her choice. She hasn't actually embarked on the path yet, which we see here and here as well. But she knows what she wants, and she's made her choice that she's going to get on that and go exactly where she wants to be. So that following that first decan of Aries with the Two of Wands, should I stay or should I go card, the Three of Wands says, I've made the choice and I'm ready to embark on this new path, letting my freak flag fly and really letting my passion and my inner fire lead my way. And last but not least, for the Three of Wands at least, we have the Three of Wands from the Starman Tarot, created by David DeAngelis for the illustrations that he did for David Bowie. And I really love this illustration because it kind of, there's a lot going on in this deck, and that's why it's one of my favorites, because there's so much to go with. And this does remind me of the Emerald City because it's all green and stuff. But it shows like just standing on the ledge, seeing where you want to be and letting that passion lead you. Again, he's unafraid and he's unapologetic. He's confident in his own skin, and that's a major energy of Aries season. Arians are known for being very confident and very like leadership. My brother was an Aries, and you know, as I'm making this video, like he's definitely coming up, because as I'm making it, it would have been his 35th birthday, and it just like his energy, his fire was something to be just so proud of and so just interesting, because he could convince anyone to do anything, and he was never afraid to be different and to go after his dreams. So with the energy of Aries season, with this Three of Wands, after that, like within like the first 10 days of it, really ask yourself what lights your inner fire. What do you want to do? And don't let the voices of others keep you from doing it. Find your passion and let that passion lead you. Make the choice to go after what lights your inner fire and create the life that you truly want to lead in, celebrating who you are and that strong foundation that you're passionate about. So that's the energy of the second decan of Aries, as I said, about April 1st to about April 10th and 11th, and then we will get to the Four of Wands, which is the final decan of Aries season before we begin Taurus. As I said, April 11th to about April 20th or 21st, that is the area or the energy of the Four of Wands. What you can see here is the different illustrations of celebrating that strong foundation that you're passionate about. So you've made the choice with the first decan. You've decided what you want to do with the third decan, and you're just embracing your power and being your true, weird, passionate self. That leads you to the third decan of just embracing that strong foundation, which relates back to the Emperor that we talked about in the beginning, and just celebrating that passion and celebrating your truth. Now, the Four of Wands, often seen as a card of celebrating the strong foundation, like a wedding or a celebration such as that. And you can see that with the Rider-Waite Smith here, the two characters there holding up their flowers and their bouquets. They're together, they're wedded, and when this card comes up, it often does represent a wedding. But I've chosen particular illustrations here that kind of show a different aspect of it, that can just remind you that it doesn't have to be a wedding or another soul that fills you with passion and excitement. It can be your own, feeling confident in your own skin. We have the Everyday Witch Tarot, which definitely shows the cats around their hand. They're the familiars, their cats around them, and the 4 women here, like, all letting their own light shine together, and shows the strong foundation that they have with one another, like being together. So you have the different colors there, the purple, the orange, the yellow, and the red. It shows those fiery, passionate colors, and just being true to yourself, using your power together to make the world a better place. And I think that's a really beautiful illustration of it, and shows just how much we can do when we come together and work together and just put those lights and those inner fires together to create something new. Then we have the Tarot in Wonderland depiction of the 4 of Wands, and it shows Alice here with her house of cards behind her, enjoying a tea party with her cats as well. So that kind of has that energy of, you don't need anybody else to feel passionate and excited. You can let your own inner fire be your strong foundation, and enjoy the company of your pets that would give you like this strong foundation as well. So again, that shows that you don't need to be having a wedding. Heck, you could have a wedding with yourself, like marry yourself and celebrate the amazing person that you are. Because Aries season, I feel, is all about finding the confidence to be true to who you are, and embracing that strong foundation that's within you, and believing in your own worth, following your own passion, and letting that inner fire and that passion lead you to creating the life that you truly want to live. Because going back to that Emperor energy in the first beginning of this, just the power that you possess to create the life that you truly want within 9 months, and you can create actual life in 9 months. Just imagine what you can create when you make the choice to follow your passion and see yourself as the strong foundation you truly are. And then last but not least, it kind of just brings that energy of the being true to who you are and knowing like your own worth and not needing anybody else. I feel that's really depicted here with the Beauty of Horror Tarot, because it's very similar to this one of the Rider-Waite-Smith, as it shows the castle in the background. It shows the 4 wands up here creating the nice little flowers there. But instead of 2 people, there's only 1 character down here, this little skeleton dancing to the beat of his own drum. And that is the soul, like, I think that's like the main energy of Aries. It's just being your unique self, letting your inner fire lead you and not caring what anybody else thinks, following your own unique path and letting your inner fire lead you. And that's why Aries season is such an awesome and wonderful season. It gives you the power to bring into life, to spring into life what lights your inner fire. So there's that, just that question that we asked in the beginning, you know, what lights your inner fire? What fills you with passion, excitement, and joy? The choice is yours to make. Like, focus on it, stay confident and stay focused. Be willing to put forth the effort to make it happen, and you can create that external strong foundation that you want for yourself by seeing yourself where you want to be. So that brings us to the end. I've managed, I think I've gotten them a little bit like covered for you, so you know the different decans and the different correspondences to Aries. So I'll leave you with the Emperor, or the picture of the Emperor right here, and I want you to see yourself as the Emperor. I want you to feel confident in your own skin, see yourself as the strong foundation that you are, and ask yourself right here, right now, what lights your inner fire and what would make you feel like you are the strong foundation that you need to be. Trust yourself, trust that inner fire of yours, and begin making the choice to create the life that you're truly passionate about. You can be the leader of your story. It doesn't matter what your passion is. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. As long as you believe in yourself, anything is possible. I don't know you. I don't know who's watching this, but I do believe in you. And if you're confident in yourself, you can do anything. Let that inner fire lead you. Let Aries season be the beginning of your personal story and your personal Emperor. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next one.